Good afternoon, everybody. Very nice to see you. Haven't done a live for a very, very long time. So it is particularly good to be here and really enjoying, looking at your work and going to share that with all the rest of you. What we're going to be doing this afternoon, it's different to our normal live streams where I'm largely sort of messing about and writing stuff. You are the stars of the show today. How lovely is that? So, it's really interesting to see what some of you have in common and where you've diverted and all the rest of it. It's really, really going to be interesting stuff. So look, what we're going to be doing, I've got about 12 entries here at a moment. Let me just run through who I've got. And if you're missing, then feel free to post a link to your video in the chat and I'll try and catch up with it. Okay, so Christian Berkanu, you're on. Mythscape Studio, Bart Van Riel, Roger Custance, Stephen Klein, Hooba Curtes, Rob McGuinness, Charlotte from Denmark, Sarkis Atamian, and Linda Messad, and Christian something as well. So if I've missed anybody, stick it in the chat or whack it in an email and we will try and get it on. We're going to be doing this for about an hour and a half, so we'll be here racing through your stuff and giving you some feedback. Feel free to ask questions, and if I get a chance, I'll answer questions along the way. That's the idea, isn't it? So, it's a nice afternoon here in the English countryside. There's the shed where I'm speaking to you from. You'll feel free to give your own feedback in the chat, but remember to keep it critical, yes, but supportive at the same time. So what we're looking for is critical friends, make it all positive, and we don't want anybody getting upset or anything like that. It is all more fun than anything else. Shall we have a little look at a piece of music? Linda, are you in the house? Linda Missad. She's a regular follower of the channel. Anyway, we're going to be having a go at her piece first of all. And so settle down, everybody, to hear the first take. You're going to get so used to this Viking film. And I should say, if you want to download it, there's a link underneath the video. And you can still, we won't be giving any more feedback. But if you want to go at it, the link to the video is underneath here. So here is Linda's go at the Viking film. Here we go. Linda, that was a really good attempt. That was really good. I really like, I can hear lots of solstice in there, which is, of course, the library I was reviewing when we originally did this. And I have to say, I think you made a really good stab at that. I'm going to focus on a couple of things which I think can do with some improvement, and that's mainly your transitions. There was one transition in particular where it was just like, slam on the brakes, whoop, let's have a new idea. Here comes a lovely voice. It's nice. But you need to, if you listen to real stars of film scoring, the likes of Alexandre Desplat and people like that, they just manage these transitions so well. So it's so seamless, and you can end up in a very different mode very quickly, but you just didn't notice it. It's all sleight of hand. It's all like a magician at work. But particularly where we went from, where was it? There was one particular bit in here. That bit, that one there. I thought, oh, if you listen to it back. Yeah, and you see also you could do with quite a lot more reverb, I think, on places like that. But you can help those transitions through, and that would really make a big difference. I think the actual the sort of mood you created was really great. I really liked it, and I really liked the way the more rhythmic stuff kicked off. I thought that was really good. I wasn't quite sure about the little ta-ra at the end, because sometimes. I know. Look, there. Here we go. Look, you're not looking at that, are you? This bit here, where he does his kind of selfie thing. Whether that needs quite, it's okay. Difficult to tell whether something like that needs sort of musical support or not, and because sometimes it's funnier if you leave it just as it is and treat it seriously, and then it's funny, and. So I'm in two minds about the little thing at the end. But apart from that, I thought you did a really good job. So shall we have a virtual round of applause for Linda? Yeah, everybody, virtual round of applause. Okay, right. Next up, let's have a little look. Let's get another one up. Christian, maybe Christian. Yeah, shall we have a go at Christians? Yeah, I think we'll have a go at Christians.
For me especially, Grammarly is very helpful when writing.
Okay, because some of these are on YouTube, you know what we're going to have to put up with? We're going to have to put up with a whole load of Grammarly ads and things like that. So I'm going to try and spare you
because
this.
as you know,
okay.
To Grammarly Premium, it gives you
Do we want? We don't want to add to Grammarly.
No.
Come on, Grammarly. Let me skip.
Suggestions for overused words to save you time when finding.
That's it. Right. Okay. Let's have a look. Here we go. This is Christian's go at this. That was a good job. And the interesting thing is, and I've noticed one or two people, Mike's pointing out, oh, it's the same vibe as the first. It's the same picture. So a lot of people are going to respond to it in a similar way. And this is one of the things about film scoring is, in order to be different, but you've also got to be, serving the picture. So you've got to think about how you carve your little furrow that actually stands out from the rest. And sometimes that's not just scoring exactly what you see, it's picking up different threads in it. I like that. I mean, the beginning bit, indeed, it did have quite a similar vibe to the first one. But it's got those kind of that wall of flutes thing going on, which I really like. I think that was quite cool. Insert me, there we go. But then, that's quite cool when Tom came up. And then it kicks off and goes quite epic when it goes into the wood. I wasn't sure if that was right or not, to be honest. The actual production's really good, but... Okay. It's funny how different music gives us a very different feel. Because we're hearing the dead Vikings now, aren't we? So it goes up a gear rather than down a gear, which I thought was quite interesting. And then it does its transition after this. So actually what's gone on here is a completely different piece of spotting. So what he's decided is that actually the close-up on the vegetation is the point at which there's this transition, not the earlier bit. Or he sees an extra section. Yeah, thanks very much indeed. There's Tom with his selfie and all the rest of it. What did you think? What was that ghost? Okay, those who didn't catch the first episode. Okay, so there's this place called Kingley Vale, and there's things called the Devil's Mounds, and it's not far from here. It's up on the South Downs, and there's these enormous, great burial mounds. And the myth is, well, it's not really a myth. These Vikings, on their way home from Exeter, decided to turn left and stop at the service station and do a bit of pillaging while they were on their way. And so they went into Chichester, did some pillaging, and all got slaughtered because they kind of slightly misjudged it. And allegedly, their ghosts still walk in the yew woods around Kingley Vale. And it's this weird, spooky place. So I went up there with my camera, made this silly little film, and then got Tom from The Office, who's a wonderful guitarist. Anyway, got him against a green screen, dressed up as a Viking, and we turned him into a Viking ghost. If you come and work for Think Space Education, that's what you can expect. Never said anything about that in the human resources pack. Anyway, right. So, look, there's some really nice production in there. I think what we're starting to hear is people will adopt a similar approach to this, and I think he could have added more bagpipes, says Stephen. For once, you could be right, actually. Could do with a touch more volume from me. Okay, is that any better? Let me know if that's too much or too little. Because I know it's probably worse to have me distorting than to have me slightly. It's just the townspeople. Right. Okay. Yes, indeed. Vocal music would work in here. Now, okay, let's move on and find another entry. How about Mythscape? I don't know who Mythscape is. I can't imagine that that's what you were christened or given. That's a given name, so to speak. Right. Oh, we've managed to avoid Grammarly. Thank goodness for that. Are you ready for a quick Mythscape wonder? Here we go. We like that, don't we? That was different. That was different to the previous two. I also really liked. I particularly liked when it went into the woods and it started to go into that kind of almost sneaking about type music. So that we had a very much of a suspenseful moment when it went into the woods. I thought it was all good. I thought it could have done with a top line or something in this early part, don't you? Because he's got a decent motif going on here. But then there was quite a long section where there wasn't much going on. And also we could have a bit more movement in the... there we go, that's great. All works. This is the section where I thought just started to feel a bit empty. Well, We could have brought something else in there as we kicked off the time lapse, maybe. I really like this though. That does sound like a solstice loop, actually. I wonder if you've got solstice. Probably have. You're waiting for somebody to jump out from behind a tree and hit you with a dead frog, aren't you? Whoa, Tom has never looked more frightening. Ha! But another person who chose to make a transition here, maybe this is right. I think that little Celtic harp could do with a bit more support in terms of reverb or something. It sounds a bit thin. Okay, now there's another example. Okay, so this, when it comes to do his famous selfie at the end, it just kind of leaves it completely empty. I never considered this when I was doing this. I just thought it was a bit of a laugh. So, but actually, it does need something which supports it, but not something which hits the comedy too hard. That's okay. Oh, Autotune Sucks has sent me a link in the chat, has he? I will have to go and find that. I can't see it. Autotune Sucks. Repost. Duduk could. Duduk's a bit overused, though. Don't you think Duduk's overused? No, because you're a duduk player. I actually had a live duduk player once on a job, and I went to the local Armenian delicatessen in Shepherd's Bush and said, "Do you know any duduk players?" And he said, "Yeah, absolutely." And this guy pitched up at my house a couple of days later in his best Sunday suit. And I said, "Where's your duduk?" And he pulled out this little thing, and he played beautifully. It was absolutely it was a magical moment. It was a truly magical moment. Anyway, really good, really good. Okay. Also sent a link. Okay, where? I have a feeling YouTube may be editing out some of your links, because I know a number of people have had that problem. Look, the best thing to do, if you email it to info@thinkspaceeducation.com, then I'll pick it up from there. Let me. So, but only do this if you're sending us a link for a review now. John has sent me something. Here we go. Right, yeah. So there are some extra things coming in. Right, let's move on, because if you keep sending them in at the same rate that I'm reviewing, we'll be here all day, won't we? Okay, Bart, you're up now. Let's have a look at Bart's version of this. Oh, that was the sound of a bird flying into the window. It's all right. It's flown off. That's fine. Okay, here comes the next one. Let's have a look. Right, this is Bart's take on this. Okay, let's get it back to the beginning. Let's see what he does. Oh, he's starting again. Look, this is another one which is quite different. It's a little bit thin for me, and there are moments in this which really work. I don't think the beginning bit works particularly well for me. It's a little bit. I know the very opening actually. No, maybe I'm just so used to the other tuner. It sounds a bit. It definitely sounds a bit dry to me. It could do with some help, I think. And it does sound quite, but there's nothing wrong with it being electronic. I quite like that too. I think that's all right. Now, this is starting to feel like a tune which is wandering about without knowing where it's going. We're back to that toddler in the supermarket. Again, I quite like this. It sort of gives you the impression that these Vikings are going to rise up out of the yews and bite your ankles or something. Yep. I think this is one which could do with a bit more polish, to be honest. But look, you've had a good bash at that. I mean, and it's, I suspect if you spend another few months working on your production and all the rest of it, then you come up with something slightly different. But look, there's a lot of good ideas in there, and you're clearly responding to the picture well. And so this is a good start. It's a good place to start. Go you, mate. Right, John, I have received your thing, and here it is. Open link in new tab, open link in new window. Here we go. Oh, dogs are going bonkers for some reason. I wonder why that is. Oh, come off it. All right, here we go. Right. Are we ready? Get ready, boys and girls. Good job, John. Look, a couple of things. I really like what this brings out is that drum, that dum dum dum, becomes a motif. It's as simple as it could do, but the way it goes away and then comes back again, you're feeling like you've got a motif which is holding the movie together. So, in other words, a motif doesn't have to be a big tune. It can be just anything which your ear latches onto. And if that boom, boom, boom became the sound of a Viking in a full-length movie, it would have the same sort of musical impact as the Jaws doo-doo or anything else. So, a motif can be anything. And a leitmotif like this, which says Viking, really good, excellent. Nice and simple. Thought you did a really good job. If you are scoring a movie, you really, really, really don't want to start the music before it starts or after it finishes, because they're just, in addition to all the creative things you have to do when you're scoring films and television, they really, really want you to stick to some of the technical stuff. And you never go before, if the film starts at 10000, whatever, you never go before that, because there's not going to be anything there. And so what you would normally do is, I normally come up, I give it 12 frames or something, so I leave about half a second before I start the music. But also, when you get to the end, and obviously, this is just for fun, but when you get to the end, you need to be absolutely sure you're at dead silence by the time the picture ends, because otherwise it's just going to cut it off. So these are little kind of small things. I like the way you manage your transitions, because although it's a very simple piece, some of it, where you get rid of the drums, look, this bit here, and the other thing comes in and takes over, because you've got these two ideas going. You've got the do 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 and the boom boom boom, and you're playing one off against the other, and it works great. I think it's really good. So look, you can give yourself a pat on the back. Hope you enjoyed doing it, because it was, it looks great. Looks, exactly what do you expect. Right, I'm going to move on through. I better start picking up the pace here, because these videos are coming in thick and fast. Since I said, all you have to do is send it to us on an email and I'll listen to it. Oh my Lord. Okay, I'll do my best to get through more. Okay. He suddenly says, he sees the emails flying in. Right, here we go. Here's another one. This is from Roger Custance. Are you in the room, Roger? Let's hope Roger's with us, and let's catch up with what Roger thinks of this film. Here we go. That works. Okay. Look, this worked in a completely different way. It starts out with this kind of this long, low drone at the start. I think it is too simple, because if you're going to go with a drone, you need to. There's not enough layers in there. You need to hear something else going on. You've got to have a bit more movement in it, because you could do it. You could do it scored entirely as a sound designery, droney type thing, but I think you've got to put a bit more into the actual drone itself. Sometimes when I do this kind of thing, I'll have 6 or 7 layers, and you hear little things go, and it's just one little tiny layer going. This chord progression, I'm not. So you're going. This is what is it? 5-5-7-1, isn't it? It's just a. I think most people have gone modal in terms of their harmony, and I think probably that works better than the. Now you're going off there. Now you're wandering into the woods of something slightly more chromatically interesting. I like the voices coming in there. Up comes the Celtic harp again. You couldn't hear the drones. Did I need that big kind of gravity type at the end? I'm not sure I did. But look, there's a lot of stuff which is good in there, and I think if you're going to do it simply, please turn up the video volume, guy. Yes, okay, we'll do next time. The trouble is also all the videos are different volumes as well, so I'm sort of keeping my eye on it, doing my best. So, yeah, where was I? What was I saying? I completely lost my thread there. Oh, well, never mind. But look, when you're doing really simple stuff, it focuses an awful lot of attention on the stuff which remains, and therefore you need to do it with so much care. Like if you just have a solo cello line and nothing else, it better be perfectly written, perfectly played, and perfectly recorded, because it hasn't got anywhere else to go. It's going to be standing there saying, I'm a cello line. Whereas if it's a big kind of arrangement, then a lot of this stuff can just sort of mix in, get a bit like that. But things like that, you could easily have done that with just a drone, but I just think it needs a little kind of extra. What are we going to put in here? Right. That's the fun bit as well. And you can arrange a drone just the same way that you can arrange a piece of music. I mean, so that you have a sort of base layer, a sub layer, and then you put something on the top and you work some movement into it. And then you might have little effects which you drop on the top of that. And then you balance the whole thing up and you have a little bit of sort of panning, all that kind of stuff. All that shenanigans. Right. Shenanigans aside, who have I gone on to now? Stephen Klein, your moment has come. Your moment to shine. Okay. Or something like that. Right. Here we go. Okay. I really like that one. I think that's very good. And it's good for a number of reasons. You do something which is quite unusual, and that is that accelerando. It's very unusual that people change tempo like that. 99% of the time, people will stick to their tempo, normally 120, because they're so lazy they can't change the default tempo of their thing. And actually, you do that, and there is this kind of thing people say that if you want to make something more urgent, you don't actually increase the tempo. You add extra bits in, so where it starts out with eighths, you then add a layer of sixteenths and things like that, and that's absolutely true. But where you do hear something accelerandering like that, accelerandering, how can I take an Italian word and add an English ing to it and expect it to make any sense at all? When you hear something getting faster like that, there you go, cut to the chase, guy. It actually really, really works. Yeah, it's a very interesting approach, and again, it makes you focus on the elements which are changing, which is the drums, but there's quite a lot of nice stuff going on in the background, and I really like that little vocal hit at the end. I thought that was really good. Core blimey. There's a lot going on here, isn't there? Are you picking stuff up from watching this? It's amazing how many different ways there are to score something which is fairly straightforward in a way. Hooba. I have a feeling. Hooba, were you with us for Taster Week? We've just had Taster Week for our incoming MA students. And I think Hooba was in the room for that. I'm not sure. I mustn't forget Charlotte and Christian. Charlotte, who is a genuine Dane who sent a piece in, and Christian, who is not. Or he might be. I don't know. I do not know of his ancestry. Right. Are you ready? Who are we going for here? Oh, yes, this is Hooba's piece. Here we go. Aha! Oh, like that. Okay, that's an interesting approach. I mean, I'm just at the end there. So you pull the music out and adds a little bit of birdsong. Eurasian Robin. Really good. Excellent. I like that one very much. I like it because it had this kind of... I like the pace of the thing. I like the way it developed as it went through the... as more elements were added in. It just felt different to the... I mean, it did feel different to the others. I thought it was well put together. Little bit extra bits coming in. Yes, you're right. It is. I like this little motif. Yeah. It's more like a music video in a way, because it's not actually responding very much a lot of the time to what's going on in the shot. And that's fine. That's fine. It's a different way of doing it. So the music is sitting in between you and me and the picture, and it's kind of adding this kind of filter of coolness, and that's really good. It shows you that you can score something like this without necessarily responding to every last cut and every last you know, thing in the picture, every last hit point. No, that's a good job. Well done. I hope I was nice to you in Taste a Week. You were there in Taste a Week. I'm sure you were there in Taste a Week. Okay, that wasn't Charlotte's. Charlotte's is coming up next. Okay, yeah. Are we ready? Are we ready for Charlotte the Danes? Yes. Okay, everybody, get your helmets ready. Here we go. It's in. Okay, right. So this is now. Charlotte does say she's not really, you know, she's quite new to music and all that kind of thing. But then lots of people say that, and then they turn out really good stuff. So we'll see. Okay. So look. Okay. Is everybody ready? Okay, here we go. Oh, Charlotte, you were messing with us, weren't you? Look, this is what I mean. You see, someone says, "Oh, I don't really do music," and then that's really good. You know, it's got lots of interesting stuff going on in there, and I think to make it better, what you've got going on at the beginning section is good, but you've got two things going on at the same time, and there's no real attempt to make them play off each other, because you get the voice going and you get the whistle going, and they're sort of doing their own thing, and you would sort of expect them to interleave a bit more, or at least to respond to each other more, but they sort of just kind of floating along in parallel, and I think that's sort of not the best idea, but they're both nice, but it just needs a bit of organising. And I like the way that string ostinato comes in. I think that's good. That all works for me. And it's a good tune. Because it's, you know, if quite quietly in the background, she's developing quite a decent little theme here. It does wander off a bit here, And this is often what happens, is... Yep. So now the tune is still there, but it's rearranged. So it's a theme and variations. It's working. It's working. Oh, modulation. And genuine Viking vocals at the end there. Carved out of... We've got an archaeologist in the room who points out that Vikings, we've never found a Viking drum. Interesting. So what would they do? Maybe they just, like Polynesians, hit bits of wood. Because every civilization known to man has hit things. Mainly each other. But anyway, neither here nor there. Right. Look. Charlotte the Dane. Gladde Jul. I think it means Happy Christmas in Danish. Oh dear. Come on, guy. Get your stuff together. Okay. Have we had Christians? No, we haven't had Christian Dry back yet. Yeah, it's open. It's open, Christians. Oh, no, we definitely haven't had this one yet. Let me just... how's the chat going? Let me just catch up with what you lot are going on about. Oh, there was a point I wanted to respond to here, actually. Somebody's made a decent point. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, hello, Prague. We had an orchestral session in Prague about 3 weeks ago. Entirely remote. It was a little bit scary. So we had 65 musicians in Schmecky Studios, and me and my little team were here on the other end of the video. It worked great, but it was a bit scary when you're not there at all. Anyway, okay, moving on. Right, let's listen to Christian Dreisbach's bash at this. Are you ready, everybody? Go for it, Christian. Look, this is a very nice piece of music, and a couple of people have pointed out, does it sound as though it's reflecting what's going on in the film? I'm not sure it completely does. It sounds a little bit too jolly for me. It sounds very much like you come from a more pop electronic background, and that is absolutely fine. You don't have to have a big tune. You don't, and also the tune you start with is quite. Is that? It's a bit, no, it's not quite doing it for me. This bit in particular. But the point, coming from outside the world of film scoring is a huge advantage, because then you're going to be doing it in it would just not occur to you to score this like a big sort of orchestra. I'm just taking it for granted that you are from outside the world of film scoring, but it is a huge advantage once you get your head around how to do it. But you do need to respond slightly more to what's going on in the picture, I think, and to try and it's about understanding the storytelling capability of your music. and what your music is saying to other people. And this is a very difficult thing to learn to control, because most people start and they go, oh, it's either happy or it's sad, or it's a little bit scary. But actually you need these fine gradations, where you've got a touch of darkness, but with a sense of hope. And that's what it is. That's why film scoring is really hard, because you're trying to pick out these very, very precise versions, very, very precise, emotional beats and things like that. And there's no reason why you can't do it with synths or anything else. It's just you need to tune in to what your music says to other people, because if you're 5 degrees off, you say completely the wrong thing. I've done it so often. And they go, what? Why are you doing happy when this person... It's not supposed to be happy. It's supposed to be hopeful. Because... But they... Oh, God, never mind. Oh. Somebody asked, what do I like about film scoring? The best bit. The best bit is the weird alchemy that happens when you put your music up against the picture, where something happens that is greater than the sum of the parts, that you manage to... Your music for some... just by trial and error and fluke suddenly says something really important about what's going on in the picture, and it just brings the whole thing to another level. And when that happens, it's just great. It's really, really so satisfying. And sometimes you write pieces of music when you're working with picture which you would never write if you were just left on a Thursday afternoon sitting in front of your keyboard. So it challenges you every single time you sit down to do it, to come up with something. And also, if you're working professionally, I like the fact that it challenges me constantly to reinvent myself. I can't just sit back and put on my carpet slippers of a John Williams or Hans Zimmer pastiche, because nobody would employ me. You need to keep moving forward and, looking at what we can do, which is different, and find new things you can say about the picture, and new ideas, and put that all in. That's the idea. So in a nutshell, that's what I get out of all this. Right. Look, but this is all going really well. I really like the stuff we're hearing, and it's all kind of coming together. Right. Steam client. Okay. Rob McGuinness, your moment has come. I wonder what Rob's going to come up with. You never know. It could be something terrible. No, I'm sorry, Rob. It's probably not. It's probably great. But you never know. Okay, let's see. What just happened? Hang on. We were going along. It was all being nice and kind of moody and peaceful, and then suddenly... Okay. Oh my lord. That took me by surprise. Let's just recap this. You see, actually, I quite like the vibe going on, because it's sort of peaceful. It's like at rest. Good morning, Texas. It's sort of more contemplative than the moody, and I rather like it. And then there's a slightly atonal hit in there, and that's sort of okay. It's slightly offbeat. transition's a bit weird there. But I like this. I really like this. I think this is... It's another one which doesn't... Okay. It then changes mood really quite abruptly. It's like a music edit. And I think probably I would have smoothed that out a bit. But it, you know, look, it's working. With my friend. Look, the actual... The heart of the musical idea there is really, you know, it works perfectly well. It's a different approach. Again, I think the bit on the end is a bit, oh my lord, what just happened? Where did that come from? But that doesn't matter. Look, I don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell that the director would keep a big hit like that in it on the end. You know, and the thing about writing music for a living is you eventually you sort of know what people are going to say before they say it, and then that saves an awful lot of time because you just get on and do it and it's fine. But yeah, that's definitely one where they'd say, do you know the big... I've heard people say they sometimes leave things like that in just so it gives the director something to say, so they don't, because everybody needs something to criticize, and but I don't do that. I just try and make it as good as I can and hope for the best. You know, what can I say? What can I say? Right, okay, moving on. Who we got here? Sarkis Atamian. Okay, I'm sorry, I've just slaughtered your name. Probably your friends would go, "What is this man saying?" Poor old Sarkis. Okay, look, here we go. Let's see how you've tackled this. I like that. It's well produced. It's well done. It does slightly fall into the kind of strings plus big epic percussion sort of genre, which I think we have to try and move through if we possibly can. And I think probably the percussion was a bit big for those pictures for most of it, and I think you could thin it out a bit. But basically what you got going on, this is another one which felt a little bit more like a music video, and it had that kind of slight distance, which is a good thing, and it felt kind of... different and interesting. What you're saying, okay, here's something which you may take away from this. For those of you who are trying to get this whole thing going and sort of pitch for jobs and things like this, this is what it feels like to be a director. You're listening to one track after another, one pitch after another, and eventually some elements of them start to blend together. So you see why it's important to find a way of standing out, because whilst we haven't heard a real rubbish pitch so far this afternoon, but how many can you still remember? Because we've probably listened to 10 or 11 of them already. How many can you still remember? Because those are the ones which will go through the next round and eventually get the gig. because just being competent doesn't get the gig. You need to be different as well. Yeah. So, and yes, somebody said, "Have I got a new camera?" No, you mean the Sony A7S Mark III? Might have. God, it's lovely. It's an unbelievable piece of kit. Everything just looks so good. My video editor just says, he keeps talking, "Oh, it's so what?" Anyway, that's totally geeky and off point. But anyway, where were we? Oh yes, we're doing music, aren't we? I forgot that. Dare I look in my inbox to see how many people have now emailed in? Okay, let's have a little look. I'm going to get into such trouble. Oh my lord, there are quite a few here. Okay, let's just do this thing. Right. Okay, so quite a lot of them must have got edited out by the famous YouTube algorithm. Okay, right. Okay, this is Kyle Bradshaw. If you're in the room, Kyle, we're about to listen to your work. So get all the kids round the telly, get your mum on the phone. Here we go. Was lovely. Look, that again, from the very start, it was different, but it wasn't different in a way, like obscurely different. It was completely right with the picture, and it just started from a completely different place, and I really like that. And because it was basically quite an ambient, evolving track, this comes back to the point I was making about drones and things like that. It does definitely evolve. It's been very nicely done. And I like that one. Yeah, it's if that's the direction the director wanted to go in, she'd go, yes, I like that. That says Viking to me in a very different way. There you go. So yeah, no, look, you've done a good job in there. And I know that the Viking selfie thing is a bit of a left field, but I mean it was just a little joke I made when I was standing on the top of the hill, and so then we put it in the movie. But of course, standing with the movie by itself, you think, what? Why is this Viking doing a selfie? But what? Do we care? Do we care? Somebody asked about silence in films, and this is a really, really good point. Yes, silence is very important, but you've got to be really careful how you use it. I mean, if you're in a film where it's mostly wall-to-wall music, if you take the music out, it draws more attention to what's going on than if you kept the music going. So sometimes you need to keep the music going because people will think there's a point to be made. So if you suddenly took the music out, people are going to go, what's about to happen? Where's that? What? And no, you're just taking the music. Oh, okay. Which is also why when I'm spotting a film, I try and find a place to stop a cue where there's some other sound which is going to sort of take over, so you can just sort of dovetail it under and dialogue, sound effects, cars, whatever, take over. And that all works. Okay, Bara Matahari Pagi. Yet another name I have now failed to grasp. I'm sorry. Right. It's your moment, though. It's your moment to bask in the sunshine of the appreciation of your fellow YouTubers. Here we go. I like the little guitar chord on the end. I think that's fun. Oh, what? What's going on? Oh, my lord. Sorry about that. That's what happens if you let it run. There were some really nice ideas in there, and there were some dodgy transitions, and there were sections which worked really, really well, and then there was a bit of a, and then you get into another section which worked really well. So, and also the other thing that struck me was the ideas were coming from several different. There was a sort of orchestral thing which was kind of quite warm, and that really sounded really nice and said something quite different about. I'm not sure it said much about the forest being the home of the souls of dead Vikings, but nonetheless it was a perfectly nice piece of music. And the first bit was really nice. I just felt somehow there was a lack of cohesion, and that's why the transitions felt a bit strange. But you're definitely onto something, because what was going on there, if you chose one of those two approaches and stuck with it, probably the first one, to be honest, and then found a way of evolving that, I think probably that would work really well. But that's, look, Bara, why can't I just say Bara Matahari Pagi? There we go. Blimey. Right. Okay. We're going to do a few more. What have we got? I've got 1, 2, 3. I think I've got four left. Something like that. Let's see look. If I've missed one, I'm really sorry. I'm really, really, really sorry. But we do our best. And thank you for bigging up the YouTube likes. Oh my goodness gracious me. Right. Whose is this? Matthias. Hey, Matthias Sundan. It's your moment. Okay. Let's get this going. Here we go. And thank you to you, Matthias. That was great. He was the first one to hit the rock vibe in there. I had rock vibe coming out my left ear, and then all kinds of other stuff coming out my right ear. It was a little bit kind of woo, but it really does show you that Viking. You know, somebody said right at the beginning, oh, I wonder if you could do rock music with this. Answer, yes, of course you can. And there's a good example. I would have gone further with that. If I was going to embrace the rock one, I would have gone full on, or a bit more full on. You know that sort of, what do they call it? Rock and reel. There's a Scottish version of sort of metal which involves large quantities of people with bagpipes and large quantities of people with unfeasibly large amplifiers, and it sounds absolutely great. And you could easily have done a sort of Viking version of rock and reel, if you see what I mean, where you got a folky, rocky folky thing. Anyway, look, but that was a really nice hit in the right direction. And of all of them, I think that end where it did a sort of mock heroic thing with the selfie, that worked for me. Made me laugh, made me smile, but what can I say? Right. Come on, we're kind of getting there. We're getting there. This one from Gavin McLaughlin is described as noisy and probably over the top. Now, what are we going to do with that? We're going to play it. So if it turns out to be noisy and over the top, it's not my fault. No. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Do you know, I'm always enjoying seeing how people deal with Tom's selfie more than anything else. But look, okay, we've had two rocky ones on the trot, and again, that is it's look, Gavin, it is it is different to the others, and I think with some tweaking, it would really, really work well. It's kind of. It does sound more like a drug-induced nightmare to start with, and that's probably fine. If I was a dead Viking, that's probably how I feel, But do dead Vikings feel? Philosophical essay. No. Anyway, look, but you see what I'm saying? I mean, again, and I take the point somebody made about, is it worth having a workshop on transitions? Because again, this one was a little bit abrupt, wasn't it? As it went from the first section to the second section. I mean, part of it is it's pretty unusual to go from one section to another section without anything much in common. And so you need to carry things over, and you can't change everything at the same time, or people will notice, unless you want that. So you need to work out what you keep going and how you take things out and how you replace them with other things and stuff like that. There you go. Look, we're getting close. We've really got through this. I'm quite pleased we got through. Okay. Evgeny Kolomites. Again, apologies. I should just put people's names up on the screen, then they won't get offended when I mispronounce them. No, nobody's offended. Oh, hang on. This is interesting. Here we go. Let's get this up. Here we go. Evgeny, this is your moment. I like that. I like that a lot. I thought that was really nicely produced. I like the way the vocals were just sort of dropped into the back. I like the way the drums came in quite subtly when, well, actually a little bit too loud, frankly. I said quite subtly. I think I would take them down a tad, and but I like the way it came in. There is something about a loop that sounds very loopy though, and it just needs. I think it is better if you. I mean, if it's a sort of Travis Barker type thing, kind of an amen type break. Yeah, of course. Then that's how it works. But when you're doing this epic percussion thing, I definitely would program it. Because it just feels, a loop just feels, I don't know. And this goes right back to Storm Drum. Do you remember Storm Drum? Hands up all those who remember Storm Drum. Yeah, I know. Storm Drum 1. Oh, it's changed my world. You have no idea what the future will bring, young man. Okay. You will have no hair. Oh, shock horror. People will have massive libraries you've never even heard of. Oh, how exciting. Oh, goodness. If only we knew then. Right. Yes. What have I got going? Okay, got a couple more. Actually, 3 more, and then we're going to call it a day before I run out of things to say. Oh, we'll come back and do this again. Yeah, Linda, we all enjoyed. Yeah, the Tuvan throat singing was great. I enjoyed that. Also, okay, this actually raises another one. Do you always have to be authentic? Because obviously Tuvans don't come from Norway, nor do they come from the southeast of England, just outside Chichester. No, you don't. You do sometimes have to be careful, but I mean, I've run into trouble sometimes. I was doing a Jungle Book series for an Indian company for French television, and every time I used a bansuri flute playing a rag or whatever, I would get told off. They'd say, "But that's an evening rag and it's the morning." Oh, I'm sorry. So you can, and I did some jobs for a corporate company who were doing films for the people in the Middle East, and you had to be really careful because they said, why are you using a Saudi Arabian drum when we're in Lebanon? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Oh, okay, I'll just go now. So sometimes you can run into trouble, but I think, and it all sounds legitimate. And you just got to be careful what kind of baggage it brings with it, because Tuvan throat singing, it just sounded, sort of otherworldly. It sounded great. If you've suddenly kicked off with a bagpipe, it's suddenly so carefully, so well established, a part of somebody else's musical culture that you would be in trouble, I think. Anyway, no cup of tea? Yes, I have a cup of tea. It is stone cold. with my oyster catcher on the front of my mug, as usual. Right. Okay. Right. Let's press on with... I can't remember. Oh, no, we've seen this one. Sorry. Roger Brown, guess what? Your moment's come. Yes, Roger, you. Oh. Okay, this is called Viking scoring video final version, which implies there must have been at least one version before it. So I wonder what his journey was. We'll find out. Okay. Stop, Roger. I like half of that. I wasn't quite sure where the tune was coming from. Yes. Okay. Renaxolo and I are on the same page here. That what's going on underneath was saying, all the right things and seemed connected to the picture and was kind of empathetic to what was going on. But the top line, no. Look, I mean, and that's good because that's the easiest thing to change. It was both what the top line was doing and the instrument you chose to do it on. So if this is final version, I'd say change the title to almost final version and just take that top line off, come up with a much simpler motif, maximum 5 notes. You can have 5 notes and put it on an instrument which sounds slightly more at one with the landscape. And well, it's not that the melody was too simplistic. It was the melody wasn't particularly well crafted. It wasn't quite clear where the heart of it was, but also the instrument was a bit on the kind of standy outy side. But this is not, if we took that off and then just went with what was going underneath, there's a lot of good stuff there. It sounds great. I like the drum. I like the whole paddy thing. I think the rest of it's great. And so that's pretty, this is not a difficult fix in a way. And every piece of work you ever do is a work in progress. It's just sometimes you have to hand it in and give it to the client. So it's a work in progress which stops there. Yeah, okay. Moving on type thing. But look, there's a lot of good stuff in there. There's lots and lots of good stuff in there. I just, personally, the melody didn't quite sit right for me. But, Roger, give it another go. Okay, Joseph Snowd, you are today's last entry. Hang on, here we go. This one's got graphics. We like graphics. Ready? that was well done. There were points at which it felt slightly at odds with what's going on in the picture. So the drums kicked off over the close-ups of the trees and things. I was kind of... It's almost like sometimes a piece of music has a sort of will of its own. And there was also a point where I almost expected it to kick off, and it sort of then pulled back. I mean, so this bit here where it goes... That's where I was expecting something to go or something. But then goes into a really nice section. But I like this. I think this is cool. And it's got a sort of dreamy quality which is not at odds with what's going on in the, so this is good. I like the modulation there. That was good. Now, I asked myself, what has that branch done to deserve it kicking off? But look, there's a lot of good. Again, we're hearing tons of stuff. Oh, it worked for you. Okay, Gene, good for you. Hang on, somebody here sent their stuff in and I missed it, so I'm very sorry. Lawrence Brown, is that you're in the room, aren't you? Under some pseudonym. So it's not the last one. We're gonna, if somebody's gone to all the trouble to do this and send it in, I'm not just going to go off and get a fresh cup of tea. We're going to do this thing together. So we're going to listen to Lawrence's piece. Okay. Okay. Right. You ready, everybody? Let's hear it for Lawrence. This is another one where there is a load of really good stuff, and it doesn't always... I really like that bit at the end, but it's like there's three different ideas going on, and they're all perfectly good ideas, but there's a slight lack of cohesion going on here. But there's some really interesting stuff, and you just want to go, okay, get rid of that idea. That idea is really good, and just make exactly Frederick said, just somehow take the idea and help it evolve, so it doesn't sound like it should feel that you're going sort of from one idea to another idea by a logical step, not just by vroom, ka, bang into a new thing. But overall, there was some really nice stuff there. It was just and I could feel the sort of tension trying to get them to fit together. And what often happens is when you're scoring something, you don't actually look at the whole thing all together often enough, and you sort of you miss these things until you finished, and then it's too late to go back and change it because it means anyway. I think that's I particularly like some of these are going in a kind of slightly more, somebody said clanad, but a slightly sort of folky mandolin-y kind of way, and that definitely works with this as well. But isn't it interesting how each one of these pieces of music brings a slightly different vibe to the whole thing, and makes you see the picture slightly differently. So hang on, there's somebody in here whose stuff I somehow am missing. Where are you? Is it Gavar? Where are you, Gavar? I can't. I've gone through everything I've got in my inbox here, so I'm not sure where yours is. I'm certainly not seeing it in here at the moment. Okay. So you're still in the room. Okay, look. I think we're getting. You just joined, missed 86 minutes. What can I tell you? Look, yeah, we haven't done a live for a while, and it's obviously, popular, and we'll definitely be doing, we do them from time to time, and oh, good. Okay, I'm glad. I had a feeling it was. So you are Lawrence Brown. We know who you are. We've got your number. We're watching. Okay. So look, I'm going to wind this up in a minute, because I have an empire to run. Oh God. We got all these incoming students. We got other students to get happy. I'm filming tons and tons of tutorials for the orchestration students and all that kind of stuff. So it's a busy life, but a happy one. And the sun's come out finally. What can I say? Anyway, so I'm thinking we've got more stuff coming up next week. And thank you very much indeed, Matt. I will indeed go and buy myself a fresh cup of tea. That's very kind of you. Thank you. So there's going to be, okay, there is a bit of a chat delay and all the rest of it. But today has definitely worked well. I really enjoyed it. I hope you have as well. There's going to be a recording of this. If you want to go at the famous Viking film, the link to it's underneath the chat here. Download it and have a go and see, with all this kind of insight now, if you can find a new way of saying something about Tom the Viking. But look, it's been really good, and he has an empire to run. I know, I'm sorry. It's been really good fun, and I'll look forward to doing another one in the not too distant future. Where's the off button? Here we go, up there. I've been chatting away, got so many windows open on so many computers. I was thinking, oh, where's stop? Okay. Look, remember to, subscribe if you're not already. And if you're interested in joining any of our master's programs, we're in the white heat of taking applications, both for our September entry and for... we've got quite a lot of applications coming in for songwriting and music production for January as well now. So don't hang around, get your application in, and we will give it due consideration, and then you can come and become part of the VIP family, so to speak. Lots of people also applying for the games courses, like sound design for games as well, which we're having a lot of success with people getting into jobs with that. So anyway, look, enough of all that. Thanks very much indeed for your company. It's been really, really good fun, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. See you soon. Bye-bye.